What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider interview studio at New York Comic Con 2024. I am so happy to get to reunite with the team behind Mayfair Witches. Congratulations. I have seen an episode. I cannot wait to see more.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I have many questions. I'm going to start with you because one of my absolute favorite things about this business is how when you're continuing a series, you can learn more and evolve every step of the way. So what is something you learned while making season 1 that made executing something on season 2 even easier?
I think I just learned how fun it is when Rowan's bad, when she uses her witchy power, when she mixes it up and chaos ensues. And, you know, I think she's learning that too. So it was nice we were learning the lesson together. And second season is all about leaning into the ways in which she's a witch. And, you know, she's torn about some of the things she's doing. But as the story goes on and, you know, the villain's amass, she has to use the darker powers that she's been given. And that's exciting.
I feel like dark and weird are my personal key words. So that was an excellent answer. So the other cool thing about evolving every step of the way is that means on a new season, you can kind of level up in a sense.
Exactly.
So what is something that you do on season 2 that you would call upping your game with Mayfair Witches?
I think we really explore the backstory of the family, the dynamics of the family in New Orleans. We get very much into, you know, the world that made Cortland, the father that made Cortland, and all of that twisted drama in the background leads to a great deal of twists in the present story.
I'll veer into some character specifics now. I'm sure you love all the characters on this show, but I am curious, when it came to crafting season 2 arcs for your characters, is there any particular one that wound up being like more creatively fulfilling than you ever could have imagined when it came to extending their story?
Well, good question.
I'm on the spot.
Pick your favorite child.
You tell us.
Who's your favorite creative child?
Which one of us do you love the most?
You have courage. No, Cortland is really fun because Cortland carries the past. And of course, Cortland is a stone statue when we meet him. So he's very much considering his past. And that was really exciting and a great way to go into the books. But Moira also comes on the scene, and to write a mind reader is incredibly challenging and very, very fun. So, and then writing for Alyssa was really fun. So that's great. And then we have Sip, who keeps us all grounded, thank goodness. So, you know, these are 3 great characters, but honestly, Rowan is, you know, divine to write for because she's just getting badder and badder.
Many follow-up questions. Tongayi, I'll come your way first because this was something I had written down for San Diego Comic-Con and I never asked it because I had read in another interview that Alex said, I think Rowan's main thing in this season is herself. What do you think Sip's main thing is in season 2?
Same thing.
Himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, because he's been through the ringer, you know, after the last ep, you know, when Rowan walks away with the baby, his mandate is to recover, you know, Lasher and bring him back to the Talamasca, you know. But with everything that's going on now, he doesn't know who to trust. You know, the Talamasca's kind of like been giving him the shifty eye. And so now he's kind of like having to discover for himself for the first time and think independent of the Talamasca, who he is, what his objective is, and why this baby is so important to them.
To build on that a little more, last we spoke, you had mentioned that season 2 is the first time he's thinking for himself and not for the Talamasca. At the very beginning of the series, what do you think his priorities were when working for them? And now how have his priorities shifted now that he's finding his own voice?
He's confused, I think, when we first meet him. He doesn't know who to trust. And he's trying to see, I guess he's waiting for the storm to settle before he can make his next move. But that's, I think, interesting for Sip's journey is discovering that for himself and seeing where this actually goes. Because at this point, he's ready to risk it all. And where that lands is, you know, is what we're going to see in the second season.
Poor dude is stressed at the beginning of
Yeah.
episode 1.
Yeah.
I feel for him. All right, Harry, I'm going to come your way now, and I want to ask a little bit about adding Ted LaVine as your father into the equation here, because like this is true of a show and in real life, whenever someone's parent is around, it just changes how they act and how they carry himself. So how does Cortland's vibe change when his dad is near him?
Portland gets very dark and weird. Okay, so that's kind of your go-to, right? So, no, Cortland spends the second season investigating his past and his relationship with his father, which leads him into a very strange and very unusual future, which you only get to in the last couple of episodes of the season.
All right, piquing my interest for what's to come, because I think Ted LaVine is an icon. I am curious about working with him. What is something about Ted as a scene partner that you appreciated and maybe helped you reach something in Cortland that you wouldn't have been able to access without him?
Well, Ted has a very dark and weird side to him, as I'm sure you know, right?
I'll take that.
But and that comes out in the show when we're working together. I mean, certainly, I'd never met Ted before he showed up on the set, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Ted LaVine is coming. Oh, good, Ted LaVine's going to come," and he was a sweetheart, a total sweetheart. But there's a side of Ted that is kind of unknowable. And I think that's something that we were able to work with very well during the show. There's a very enigmatic part of Ted LaVine that comes out in the show.
I feel like I've seen that quality full force in his previous projects. I can see that coming into play very effectively here. All right, we're going to make this really awkward for you, Alyssa. Tongayi and Harry, I kind of want you to talk about adding her to the equation here, because the cool thing about a show is that, you establish a foundation, and then it can be a big challenge for a new actor to come in and kind of jump aboard a moving train. So what was it about the way she kind of joined the Mayfair Witches family that impressed you? And what's something about like her vibe and approach to the work that added a new layer to your collaboration?
I would say it was seamless. She came in and brought so much beauty and so much joy to the set, and also to her character. I mean, we are blessed to have her on the set.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harry. Aw.
I think what I like most about working with her is just the energy. She's a high roller, and it's always good to have fun when the cameras are not rolling, because then it just makes it easier when you have to do what you have to do in front of the camera. So good people, and I think that's very important when you are working with people, that you just come and just be ready to play and have fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys.
All right,
Keep
Alyssa.
going.
Checks in the mail, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm bringing back the weird word, because referring to our other conversation, you had mentioned that you read the book and you were really enjoying the weird qualities of the character.
Oh my God.
You said that more broadly. Can you give me some specific examples, things you picked up from the book that you knew you wanted to hold especially tight to in your performance?
Oh boy. I mean, I think her rebelliousness is the part of it. Mona as a character in the book is very different. She's 13. She's like very deeply sexual, which is interesting and very Anne Rice, but I think like making that there's a different story going on here. And so I think the rebelliousness and just the set apart from the crowdness was something that I wanted to hold on to. Everything else challenging to show on television, I think,
Understandable.
Yeah.
Here's something that I was really eager to ask you, because obviously there's a whole bunch of characters in the show that are up to curious things on different sides of the divide. At the beginning of the show, which other character would you say she trusts the most, and who does she trust the least?
I don't think she trusts anybody but her little sister. Like, I genuinely, like, and then Rowan, I don't think she trusts Rowan. I can't think she can't stand Rowan, honestly. Or can't stand her, but doesn't, well, to a degree, but she just doesn't understand the motivations of her actions. And I think that she just disagrees with her fundamentally. Yeah, she doesn't trust anybody. Yeah.
Probably the better approach to navigating this
agree.
world, really.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll throw that to both of you too as well, because it's an interesting thing to consider. Who do your characters trust the most and the least?
Trust the least? My boss, Albrecht.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Don't trust him. Trust the most? I trust me. Well, Sib trusts himself. right now.
That's such a healthy answer.
Yeah.
I don't think Cortland trusts anybody, and definitely not himself. No, he's an untrustworthy fellow. In fact, do I like anybody?
JoJo, your daughter, JoJo.
Well, I like JoJo. That's true. I do.
Yeah.
I trust. Well, I don't know if I trust JoJo though. No, I'm sorry. I don't trust anybody.
Again, an understandable answer when you're playing in this kind of situation. For all of you now, we've obviously spoken about dark and weird, and another term I've heard thrown out around there is off the wall. To tease what's to come this season, can each of you say like the single most off the wall thing you got to do while making season 2 that you're excited for viewers to get to see when it comes out?
It's so hard to say. You can't say them.
Yeah.
Cryptically.
I think you can say them
Oh, you
as a
sure?
tease.
Are you
a little bit?
Are you giving us? I got to.
Cannibalism.
I got to wear a really interesting costume piece. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that happens in the season is that 5 episodes in, we go to Scotland.
Oh, okay. If I could say that, then well, then I'm gonna wear a milkmaid dress, whatever.
Yeah, Moira dresses as a milkmaid. Yeah, we go to Scotland. So a lot happens in the Highlands that, just is so deeply the fabric of the novel and so very, very strange and wonderful and terrifying.
More keywords that I love. You're just acing this today. How about for the two of you? Anything off the wall that you did that you want to highlight?
Well, I mean, everything is off the wall in Anne Rice's world. I mean, there's nothing on the wall as far as I know.
Yeah. What he said.
That's what keeps me coming back for all these stories. I'll end with this particular question for all of you. I've gotten a little obsessed with this idea because recently a director who was working on something, like horror fantasy had said to me one of the most incredible things for him was seeing his actors take such joy in their work, working with this darker material. So for each of you, can you single out the most joyful moment you had on set making Mayfair Witches season 2?
Okay. I don't know if I can say this, but it's
Go for
it. Can I?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Try.
There's these adorable kids. Yeah. It's like that was so cool. They were fun. Couldn't understand the lick of what they were saying, but
Very Irish children.
but it was just like we were just here with each other, So that was fun. Yeah.
I like that.
I would say, I have to say, the most joyous moment was getting to know my dad, Ted LaVine. That was our first scenes together were extremely, I'm not sure joyous is the right word, but as an actor, perhaps it was joyous. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a scene that we did it was me, Harry, Ben, Alex, and I think that was it. And it was just us in a living room and we shot it over. This was an endless scene. This must have taken like 2 weeks to shoot. And the amount of stories that Harry Hamlin told in that time period, we were like sitting around on the ground like children. I think that takes a cake for me.
It was such a delight to shoot in Ireland. It was so divine. And there were some places that we shot that were like deep, deep, deep down in valleys, no cell service. I don't know how any of the equipment was running or whatever, but we had, this pageantry of beautiful, beautiful costumes by our costume designer, Carol Cutshaw, these incredible actors and, various magical entities like Highland cows and ducks and geese. And there were weddings and there were practically funerals. And it was like every day was like getting to be in this terrifying fairy tale.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see more of your dark and weird. I'm going to say huge congratulations in advance on Mayfair Witches season 2. To everybody out there, stay tuned. So much more coming your way from New York Comic Con 2024.